What is up, everybody? Sinestra here, and today I want to talk about a couple of things regarding Surrender to Madness. First up, I want to talk about the changes that were made in a recent hotfix. Next up, I want to talk about the perfect opener for playing Surrender to Madness. And finally, let's take a talk a little bit about the 100 Club and what exactly that means. So first up, in a very recent hotfix patch, they changed a couple of things regarding the actual talent Surrender to Madness. It used to give us 200% extra insanity generation. It now only generates 150% extra insanity generation. Now, a lot of people have been going, oh, are we now not viable as Shadow Priests to bring to raid groups in Legion? Are we going to do so much less damage? And the first thing I want to say is straight up, nobody likes a nerf. Nobody likes a nerf at all. It's not fun. Nobody enjoys doing less damage. But realistically, when you look at the facts surrounding why they did this, you have to take a couple of things into account. First up, 200% insanity generation was huge. It was huge, and we were easily pushing 100 stacks within fights in HFC. Now, admittedly, with the HFC gear that we had, that's a lot easier than it should have been because we have Mindbender available way more often than we should do, and we have Premonition, which gives us a good chunk of haste. So at the moment, with the way that itemization works and with the way our stat weightings are actually working, it's quite easy to stay at 100. Also, when you think about Execute, there's only two classes that have Execute. There's us as Shadow Priests and there's Warriors. Now, we were outperforming Warriors massively in the Execute phase, especially when we're looking at 100 plus stack Shadow Priests. There's no way a Warrior was going to be beating us. So for us to have that huge advantage over Warriors wasn't exactly fair for the two classes that are given Execute to, so I think they're just trying to bring us down in line in the Execute phase. Sure, we're still going to do a lot of damage, but the thing that is now required with Surrender to Madness with this nerf is that it now requires almost perfect play. You can't really mess up while you're doing your rotation. So that's why in this video I wanted to clarify the Surrender to Madness opener. Now this only really applies if you're going to be popping Surrender to Madness on pull. Now if you've been doing HFC on Mythic or Heroic and you've been getting like 30 seconds to a minute fights, you absolutely can be popping Surrender to Madness on pull. Now, there's a couple of things that you should really take into account here when you're doing your opener that I think are very important. First up, there was the recent change in hotfix that meant that you can't start a fight with a full resource bar. This applies to every class, Death Knights, us, Warriors, everyone. So, if you want to start a fight and pop Surrender to Madness before you pull, you have to cast Void Eruption before the pull actually starts. So, what I'm going to do here quickly is I'm going to build up 100 Insanity, and then we will talk you through the opener. So once you've got 100 on the trash before a boss, Mind Flay something to keep yourself, because you won't gain anymore, you will stop the drain of Insanity. So I'm currently sitting at 100 and I can talk you through this while we do this. Now what you need for a perfect opener when playing Surrender to Madness is a 20-second pull timer minimum, okay? Because this is how you're going to do things. So we'll walk you through it first and then I'll show you it. So the pull timer goes off at 20. At 15 seconds to go, you pop Void Eruption, so that you're actually starting to drain Insanity. At 6.5 seconds remaining, you pop Dispersion. At 3 seconds, you pop Surrender to Madness, and at 1 second, you pop your Potion. That means that as soon as the boss is actually pulled, you start spamming Void Bolt. This way, you're going to be with your Surrender to Madness, because you're going to be very low at this point. You will start going back in. So you cast Void Bolt into Mind Blast, then apply your dots and Mindbender. This is the easiest way to get into the rotation and start building stacks before the fight even starts. This way, you avoid losing any resource on pull, and it also gives you the ability that if the fight goes on for long enough, you can actually disperse a second time if you need to. Now this is the way to get to 100 stacks quite easily. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on 3 targets here in a council style fight, and we'll see how far we go. We're also going to talk about sort of staying at 100 stacks, but we'll show you the opener first. Now, I'm going to try and talk while I do this, and if you've watched my Shadow Priest guide, me talking while I'm doing things like this isn't always the best for my play, because I have to try and concentrate on sounding professional whilst playing professionally. That's not going to work very well, but we'll give this a go. So we're stuck at 100 right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a pull 25 just so I can talk on that. So we're going to pull 25. So now I have a 25-second pull timer. So you can watch up here. So let's just do that. So we're now at 20. So we're coming up to it now. So 18, 17, 16, 15. So now I'm casting Void Eruption. And now we're at 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.5. We're popping Dispersion.
4,
3, we're popping things, and now we're popping a pot, and now we're spamming Void Bolt into Mind Blast, into applying my dots and Void Bolt, and then we're putting on a Mind Bender, and then we're dossing up the other 2 targets. You can see what I'm doing on the right hand side in details. And then what we're going to be doing is just focusing on keeping these dots active on every single target. So we're just going to be tabbing through. So you can see here I'm Void Bolt, Mind Blast, Void Bolting, and then filling with Mind Flay, and I'm just making sure that I'm using my Mind Bender whenever it's off cooldown, which is obviously every 20 seconds with the HFC Forcer. So you can see here as well, we're up to 46 stacks, so we're making our way through things quite easily. There we go, and then we're going to keep that up, so we're at 50 plus now. And you can see on the right hand side, you can see my DPS as well, just so you can get easily hold of that. So we haven't used any Lust here. Now I actually have Drums of War in my bags, which I'm going to be popping at a certain point. Because realistically, as a Shadow Priest, you want Lust late, you don't want Lust on pull, which is going to be very difficult for you to convince any guild to do, because most people are going to want Lust on pull, which is going to be a big challenge. So we're coming up on 100 now. So at okay, so I'm going to pop Lust now. See, now my global cooldown is so ridiculous that I am having problems with latency. Okay, sorry that I'm not. I've got 15 seconds before I can disperse again. I'm not going to go and use that crit circle because it's really cheesy. So we can disperse again now. So we can disperse, get the 3 stacks. So we got 2 dispersions off there. And now we've... there you go. See, I Mind Flayed where I should not have Mind Flayed there. So there you go. See, I Mind Flayed and wasted the things like that. So I got to 144 seconds in, which is... okay. Now I could push up to 176 seconds when it's, well, I had the 200. I'm starting to like cap at about 150 now. I did that to myself by casting Mind Flay there. So once you get to a certain point, you don't need to do that anymore, because your global cooldown gets down to a low enough rate once you hit, I think it's 130 stacks, where you're not actually needing to keep casting Mind Flay because you have Void Bolt, Mind Blast, Void Bolt almost instantly. Now also there, the thing I was missing was I didn't have Shadow of Death active, because none of those dummies were in execute range, so it would be a little bit easier to get a bit further once you have access to Shadow of Death. And obviously I didn't have that, so that reduces the time in as well. So what we'll do quickly is we'll reset and we'll go again. So just bear with me for a couple of minutes, well, for a second, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we are back for round 3. So we're just going to mindset here, and then we're going to put a 25-second pull timer up. So let's go /pull 25, and we will go for another round. So we have 25 seconds, so we're just going to extend a little bit more again. So we'll switch our target now. So there, okay, so we're looking at 18, 17, 16, 15, we're casting Void Eruption. Fantastic. So there we go. So waiting now until 6.5 seconds before we start casting Dispersion, which is coming up pretty quickly. 6.5, go with casting Dispersion.
4,
3, we're casting certain amount. 1, we're casting Potion. Then we're spamming Void Bolt, Mind Blast, putting the dots up, Void Bolt, Void. Okay, then we get Mind Bender out. I was late on the Mind Bender there, but it doesn't really matter, because right here we have a little bit of margin for error. So if you're going to make any errors, this is the point in which you want to be making your errors. So we're going to be cycling through from right to left this time. So you can see here, so then it's this Void Bolt, Mind Blast, Void Bolt, fill with Flay. Void Bolt, Mind Blast, Void Bolt, fill with Flay, and then if you've got Mind Bender to cast, you cast Mind Bender. So there we go, we're keeping these dots really nice and active on all of these targets. I've also stopped using enemy grid at the moment, because I'm not sure actually whether I like it or not, by the way. So if you've like... because I don't know whether it's cluttering my screen space and things like that. So I'm actually trying at the moment to see if how I get on without it, and I'm actually getting on alright without it because I managed for years without the thing anyway. So it's nice, but I'm not sure whether it's something that I'm going to be consistently using for an entire expansion. But while we've been chatting, we've got up to 82 stacks, so we're going to think about popping Lust soon. Okay, so now we're going to pop Lust. We're at 100 stacks. Okay. See, I messed that up again because I broke the rotation to cast Berserking, whereas I should have cast Berserking when I cast Lust. So you can see the precision it takes at a higher end. But like that was easily 100 stacks. We were 124 stacks. So I did my best run in the first one. I could sit here and try for hours and hours and hours. But like realistically, if you can get anywhere close to me, you're probably doing pretty well because I'm doing okay. I feel like I'm doing alright. But yeah, so that's a couple of tips and tricks for Surrender to Madness. A couple of channel-based things, guys. We're coming up on 500 subscribers right now, and I can't tell you how thankful and grateful I am to all of you for coming and hanging out with me. Like, it's really, really great that you guys are liking my content and finding it useful. And please tell me if there's anything you want to see regarding Legion. Stuff that I've got upcoming right now. I'm planning some dungeon guides. I'm just trying to get footage for that, and I'm also planning a really big Suramar guide as well, because Suramar is a huge part of Legion, and I have been putting countless hours into sort of like try and work out exactly how much you need to do, like to unlock the dungeons and things like that. So there's a guide for that coming as soon as I get to that point, and I've dumped a lot of hours in. But if there's anything else you want to see, Artifact, by the way, is coming. People that keep asking about my Artifact route, that is coming, but I'm just waiting till closer to launch just because of how possible it is that could change due to balance, because Blizzard seem to be messing with them more and more at the moment. So that is coming. I know you will see it, and the 110 guide is going to be coming as well, but it's going to be coming a little bit closer, probably after launch actually, just so that the information is all locked down and we can talk about the artifacts and everything all in one video, so there's one complete package. But yeah, I want to thank you very, very much for coming and joining the channel. It's been fantastic having you here. I'm so glad that you like what we're making. But until next time, guys, thank you very, very much for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button. I've been Sinestra, and I'll catch you next time.